Hello everyone and welcome back to another brilliant episode of Faithful to the Traitors.
I'm not well. I've caught my second cold.
Yes, you had a cold and then it didn't really do anything.
And then I had another cold. No, I think I had COVID. And then it got turned into a cold. Hi everyone, I'm Alex. I am Faithful. That's right, I got there first. Boo, 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 boo.
I am Ben and I am also 100% a Faithful, and I'm not going to leave that on a cliffhanger because you already know. That would be a silly thing to do, to leave that on a cliffhanger. Absolutely.
Even Claudia took the mick out of the beginning of this episode when after Ash had left, then she said, well, I don't know who's going to be murdered. It's either the traitor or the only Faithful. Who could it be? Yeah. I thought that was quite funny. So at least they, tongue firmly in cheek, said exactly what we were all thinking. That is, what was the point of that cliffhanger? None whatsoever. There was that was a really bad one, considering the episode 3 cliffhanger was such a good cliffhanger, and none of us expected it really to go the way it did. Mm-hmm. And then episode 4, it was like just a bit of a
they couldn't put it in a cliffhanger, but there was no cliffhanger no matter what they did.
No,
so they did what they could. Even the best editors at the BBC could not create real drama.
Well, of course, it's not the BBC making it though, is it? It's Studio Lambert.
It was
on behalf of the BBC.
That's true.
So you can't blame the BBC for something they never did. All they did is commission it. All they did is commission it. Like they commissioned
defund the BBC.
Oh, you don't believe that. No, he doesn't believe that.
So have you got your contacts to read off? We've sorted things around, so it's all out of order now because you said your name first.
It's all got a bit nuts, hasn't it? So, right. So you can get in touch with us, as you always have been able to, since the dawn of time, since the beginning of monkeys hitting computers with rocks.
Right.
faithfultothetraitors@gmail.com is our email address. We love your emails, and we've been getting lots and lots and lots and lots, and we'll be reading some of those out in a moment, as well as your comments on X @TraitorsPodcast or Instagram @FaithfulToTheTraitors. Don't forget to follow us. You can also find us on YouTube, and you can watch this lovely, brilliant, terrific, top drawer podcast by searching Faithful to the Traitors podcast. And if you would like to help with the show, you can always go to buymeacoffee.com/faithful, where you can throw us a few gold coins our way, just like someone, that's their name, someone had today. Thank you very much. You can stay as anonymous as you like, but we will still thank you on the show for giving us the support that you have. So thank you ever so much. If you enjoy listening to the show, one gold coin is the equivalent of £5, and it helps with my cold medicine. It helps with my Lemsip that I'm currently snorting directly from the table, just to help myself get through this
and
car crash.
Because they were anonymous, we can speculate who they were. Must be one of the traitors.
I thought it was Brian.
Oh yeah, sending us a bit of money to
right. Instead of shut up. Exactly. Instead of him coming and having a little chat with us, he had a chat with though. Ignored us completely, threw us away like a piece of cheap trash.
Right.
Do you know who he went to?
No.
Morning Live on the BBC.
Wow.
What a
Can't blame him if it was Gethin presenting.
What a liberty. Gethin was presenting.
Well, can't blame him.
Oh, what?
I turn up for Gethin in the morning.
Well, if Morning Live, hello Morning Live, if you're watching, if they got in touch and said, like, would you guys like to do the presenting? Should I say to them in return, not do presenting, but like do like an interview about the show? Should I say in return, will Geffen be presenting? Mm-hmm. If the answer is no, should I decline the offer?
Yeah. And if Kim Marsh is there, I don't want to either.
No, actually, I wouldn't want to do it with Kim Marsh.
And I'm also going to refuse to do the stupid Strictly workouts they do as well at the end.
No, I wouldn't.
They're stupid.
I wouldn't. That'd be great fun. I'd do it on the chair. I like the one who does it on the chair.
Lift your arm.
And just moves their foot left to right. Taps it from the left to the right. Anyone who lives outside the UK has no idea what we're talking about right now, but Morning Live is a morning show, and it's terrific.
Look up Geffen Jones and you'll know what
Look up Blue Peter, early 2000s, and then you'll know what we're talking about.
The gay awakening for many, Geffen Jones, wasn't he? Is his name Geffen Jones? I'm sure it is.
Geffen, yeah, Geffen. Who was my gay awakening?
Geffen Jones. Someone on Blue Peter.
No, I've told you this before. No one's interested. Let's carry on talking about the Traitors.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a cartoon character, that's what I'm saying.
You can, we just mentioned that you can get in touch with us and we'll read out your comments. Someone emailed us because last episode you wanted someone to write a Brian poem.
I did. I said I said, if you guys want to write us a poem about Brian, it has to start with "There once was a man named Brian."
Yeah.
Since someone's done that, thank you so much. I appreciate this 100%.
So Andy says, "Hi guys, can't get enough of the podcast. I spent all night refreshing to see when it was up. Sadly, we waited till 7 a.m.
The podcast
or Brian
or Brian
or Andy." He said, "Anyway, here's my Brian poem.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this. Thank you.
There once was a guy named Brian who was faithful."
Ruined already.
Sorry, no, where was that? I need to get this correct. I need to dim the light so I can actually see my screen.
It's a limerick.
The lights are so bright in here because Alex's skin is so damaged and aged.
English rose.
There once was a guy named Brian,
Right.
who the faithfuls thought was lying.
Perfect.
My God, he was fit. They did not care a bit. Now Meg is the one who is dying. We may as well.
I'm sorry, but
Finish.
Andy... Well, I was going to say, there's no point carrying on with this podcast.
No.
Andy has topped us by literally
Topped
one
us.
limerick.
Brian hasn't topped us, but Andy has.
Sorry, Andy has. And Andy is a star. Thank you so much, Andy. We've got more comments at what we're going to read out during the show.
Yeah.
By the way, if we don't read out your comment, genuinely, you have all been getting in touch with us. This is like the most overwhelmed we've ever been. Like, we've done call outs for people to get in touch with us on other series of this podcast, and we've had, the odd one or two. We've just had so many. So thank you so much. If we don't read yours out, then please don't take it as a personal attack. However, if you had written a limerick, you were guaranteed to get in.
There is an email I feel bad about.
Limericks now.
Yeah. A limerick about Alex and Ben. There is an email I feel bad about because it's really long, but it's too long for me to go through and filter because I don't filter anything. So I may get around to it, maybe reduce and read out later.
That's fine. So let's talk about...
We had the murder.
We had the banishment first, which was Ash, but we don't need to do the...
Done.
Well, we haven't really, because we knew it was going to happen, but we hadn't really... It hadn't happened.
It had happened.
So it had happened. It had happened.
Yeah.
There's a few theories out there saying that Ash dropped a few subtle hints I saw.
Yeah, there must be a reason for the cliffhanger.
Well, she said that she was really happy, which was meant to be an H, that she was able to do the show. It's like, see, she used the letters, like she used. I know it's a bit.
Well, she spelled a
bit of a stretch.
Harry was
she used 3 words which had the initials, but she used them. She used the adjective for how she felt for the show as the initial for the people who were traitors. That's a theory, and it's out there.
Well, it's
we
debunked.
should respect the theory.
No, I shouldn't. Debunked. Officially debunked.
It's a little bit stretched, but who's to say? Ash was desperate. She was clawing for attention. We had our answer also for why Ash didn't, as I suggested, put out the idea that Paul's name, and that is that she thought that she still felt like that she was part of a team.
She was a traitor.
She was a fool. She was a fool. She that was her one opportunity to do something about it.
Paul's doing well anyway, so it's okay.
No, he's not, and more on that later. But so Ash was out. So then there was the obvious murder, and that was Meg. And do you know what that means?
What's your name and where do you come from?
There we go.
Thanks, Scylla. Yes, Meg, the illustrator. I went on her Instagram just to do a bit of research. She's drawing, painting. She's fine.
She would. She's an illustrator.
She's okay.
Good. So she was able to successfully leave a show and go back to her day job.
Yeah.
Phew. Now I'm relieved.
Right, so fact file for our Meg. Hoping to, quote, wing it on the traitors is Meg, an illustrator from Hertfordshire. The 22-year-old is very competitive, but has a measured approach to traitordom. Or dom.
Dragadoon.
Quote, I wouldn't go to the lengths of throwing somebody under the bus unless they were going to throw me in that same moment.
Well, then that would be throwing each other under the bus.
If I'm going down, you're going to come down with me. That's how I'd see it, she says.
That's how she saw it, but unfortunately, that's not how it played out, really, let's be honest. She was very happy to die. She was like literally cartwheeling to the chair when she saw the letter, and she was like, oh, I get to go now. I think she was relieved more than anything, let's be honest.
I think it's a shame. I think there could be more of Meg, I feel, in my bones.
Meg gave up. She didn't do enough of an impact.
Yeah, the dungeon really...
in the game, and by the time she got to the dungeon, she kind of knew that was her time. So it was the end. It was the end, my friend. It was the end. However, I need to now have my soapbox moment about Paul, and that is that, and I'm on Team Jazz 100% right now, because Jazz is the only one the only one who can see the wood from the trees.
Yeah,
he's the only one.
Yeah.
Because
Sexy Jazz is what he's known.
That is commonly known as Sexy Jazz.
Yeah.
He knew immediately, the moment Paul was the last one to walk through the door, quote Charlotte, bless him, he knew that he was a traitor because it was a double bluff.
Yes.
It was, and thank goodness there's common sense, at least in one of them.
I think more people think it, but they're too blood. They don't want to believe it, so they're not saying
others are saying it, but again, and we've had this before in previous series, and that is that people stop taking common sense because personal attacks start to begin about this point in the show. Anthony and Zach both think Paul is a traitor. However, they also don't like each other. So now they're going for each other.
Right.
It's so frustrating that they can't find... Why can't they just agree? Like, we both think it's Paul. Let's both agree with Jazz. Go for Paul. And then we can fight it out amongst each other after that.
Well, Anthony pointed out, he said, you don't like me. That doesn't mean I'm not faithful. That's what people get confused with, didn't it? And I did feel bad. I mean, there's a comment here you brought up. You said you were getting your spoke box about Paul.
I'm having a spoke box right now.
YouTube, on our YouTube channel, you can comment on our videos and watch.
Don't
Band Productions.
Band Productions, there we are.
I want everyone to subscribe. Subscribes are going up this week. We've never had so many hours, so I just want everyone to subscribe, okay?
Subscribe.
Right. And comment.
Ring the bell, put a thumbs up, and you'll never miss an episode if you watch us on YouTube. You can also subscribe on the audio, and again, you'll never miss an episode.
Yeah, I want YouTube.
Why would you want to miss an episode?
Right, so Ricky says, Paul has turned into a Disney villain, and I really can't stand him anymore. But I'm very much rooting for Miles. So he agrees with you. Paul is the villain of the piece.
It's funny because I think there's a lot of love for Harry, especially after tonight's episode, and there seems to be a lot of affection toward Miles. There doesn't seem to be a lot of likes toward Paul.
No, there was for like 12 hours.
Right, the first episode, because he laughed at everything, and we were like, "That's endearing," and then he got annoying, and then he got a bit evil and a bit vicious.
That's right. So you were just talking about Anthony and Zach. I did not like how Zach would not let Anthony speak. It was annoying me around the kitchen table.
They weren't the other two that were doing that.
Yeah, I know. The other two was Jasmine and Johnny, and I didn't like how Johnny didn't let Jasmine speak.
It was just ridiculous.
It was annoying me. Both of these accounts, Jasmine and Anthony. Last episode, I declared my watch meter for Jasmine. Watch her. I still stand by that. She's up there. She's at the top for me. But yeah, it was annoying me how Zach kept talking over Anthony, wouldn't let him speak, and then at the round table, Zach talked through and wouldn't let Anthony speak again, and Anthony tried to use the same thing Zach said to him, let me speak please, and he wouldn't. So double standard here. That's frustrating.
That's very true. And also Anthony kept saying, this was more private though, toward his talking head bit, that he said that he didn't like the fact that Zach played the game of you ask him a question and he would then reply with a question at you, and it would be more of an attacking stance rather than more of a defensive stance, and then it would feel more like you were being attacked. I
don't know where to sit with Zach. I liked him yesterday.
I still like Zach.
So do I, but then
Zach's on the right track.
Yeah, but
Zach's on the right track.
He's on the right track. And
there once was a man named Zach who was very much on the right track.
He says things that are right, but sometimes about the wrong people, and that's just annoying. So you're so close, Zach, to being smart and wise, but not there.
It's just personal politics.
Anthony was smiling though. He was quite happy this episode, wasn't he, when he came to breakfast?
And he finally spoke. Yeah. That was a nice change.
Shut him up.
I know, we couldn't shut him up. Like, for the last 2 episodes, you barely knew Anthony was there. He was just in the background, kind of not saying much. Maybe that was his tactic, though. Maybe he was just kind of watching the world around him and then thought this was my moment to now step forward and pipe up. Unfortunately for Anthony, it didn't really work out too well for him because he kind of got knocked back instantly. I think if he had more of an integration into the game a bit earlier on, perhaps more people would be more inclined to listen to him. Similar could be said for Jazz, because again, Jazz, although he's got a lot to say, people aren't really listening to him.
No, that's what Paul said. He was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
At the when they went to the Traitors house, it's like, right. But I think Jazz seems quite popular. I like Jazz.
I think Jazz is liked, and within the group, I think Jazz is liked as a friend. I think he's under no threat whatsoever of being banished, but at the same time, there's no influence there. And I think it's safe to say that he'll probably make it to even to the very, very end, but I don't think he'll be good enough to stay. I don't think we'll be seeing money going into the pockets of Jazz. I'm sorry, Jazz. I love you to bits, but I just don't. Well, it's already happened, so you don't care, Jazz. He's probably right now having a Caribbean cruise right now with the money that Claudia gave him for sweaters.
Also want to say a quick shout out to Charlie, Evie or Molly. One of you were on Twitter. So hello, one of you white blonde women. Don't know which one it was. And that's going to stay right to the end of the series.
He's just being a snarky little git.
That's a running gag that we've got. So that's what we're going to go with.
Stayed in though. This is the annoying thing. You said at the top of the podcast, right in the first couple of episodes, you said, oh, one or two of them will be eliminated. Soon I'll know which one's which. Still don't have a clue. Although we do know, wasn't Charlie the one who was allowed to let off the catapult?
Yes.
There you go. So Charlie was the blonde white woman who was able to let off the catapult. Another thing...
Yeah, but then Molly or Evie got the shield. So which one was that? No one knows.
I think it was Evie. I think it was Evie. I do believe it was Evie.
I think it was Molly. Actually, is what you're saying.
But it wasn't just Evie or Molly. It was also Ross. And Ross was the one who got nearest to the target. And so Ross has got immunity. So Ross, again, found his voice a little bit because he knew he had a bit of a bye night where he didn't. He was able to. He was able to
buy night.
He had a buy night. He was able to get through the next day without being murdered. So he was a lot more vocal tonight as well, don't you think? And he was kind of gunning. He was kind of gunning toward Johnny as well, which was almost Johnny's undoing.
Yeah, this Johnny thing, I don't know.
It came out of nowhere. It did, didn't it?
I felt quite bad. And Harry, announced his love for Johnny in the VT. So we knew things were going to be a bit dodgy because he said I can never go against my brother in arms and stuff. Yeah. And then he wrote his name down on the thing. So
it was a really difficult one for Harry. Actually, it was difficult to watch. And again, it kind of I'm not at all accusing Harry of playing up on this occasion because I have accused him of playing his kind of tomfoolery kind of like, oh, I'm not quite as bright as everyone else playing card, but
plays it so well.
But I think with the Johnny thing, I do actually think he was genuinely upset on this. He was genuinely upset because I think he was a friend. He said he was one of his brother in arms. He was someone they were both in the army.
Blood is thicker than water,
and they're not related.
Yeah,
that's what that phrase means.
Through the army.
But blood brothers.
But gold coins.
Tell me it's not true.
But gold coins are even thicker.
Well, how long?
That's where I was going with that.
That's insane. How long do you think it's going to be before they start? There's an announcement that they're making the Traitors musical. It suddenly just hit me. It has to happen. There was Jerry Springer the musical, for crying out loud.
Shown through Claudia's Fringe's vision.
Well, no, Claudia Winkleman should be like the narrator type part, you know? So she'd play like the narrator, like in the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Like she does on the show.
Yeah, exactly. And she can walk around. Have you noticed Claudia is also doing a lot more shoulder touching, squeezing, feeling of the hair?
Very passionate cast.
They are much more passionate and much more closer. This team task actually brought them together a lot more. And it was nice actually to see that because now it felt less personal. The accusations and even the arguments, the silly petty arguments felt less personal. It just felt like people clambering for an answer and almost childlike. Like I said, the argument between Johnny and Jasmine was childlike. It was literally watching my niece and nephew in front of me just having an argument over whose turn it was to play on the iPad.
At the same time, let Jasmine talk, please.
No. Yeah. Of course I'd let Jasmine talk. But again...
So you know what Jasmine needed?
Silence, please.
If only she had your soundboard. If only she had that luxury.
She almost made my soundboard, but I didn't have time to put her on there. So Jasmine...
Will she be on it next episode?
Who knows? Speaking of the three blonde women that we were talking about just now.
Yes, Molly, Charlie and Evie.
Of course, we had an Instagram message. So this one's from Spencer. Say, hello, boys. Don't know if she says it like that, just that's how I say it.
Just the way you said it, eh?
Firstly, may I say your podcast can be classed as wonderful light entertainment.
Yes.
What does that mean? Light. Does it mean it's not light? Or it is?
No, light entertainment is like something you can just sit down, relax to, not think too hard about. We're not exactly University Challenge, are we? We're not only Connect.
That's for the aim I go for.
Mastermind. If you listen to the podcast, please put a 5-star review and said it's like watching an episode of Mastermind. It's that intellectual. If you do, then we'll read out your name.
It's must-listen viewing, which I love that.
That's better, right? Yeah.
Must-listen viewing.
Must-listen or watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, but I just got it. I'm sorry.
I'm about to watch
episode 4. This is why we're not Intellectual. Sorry,
I'm about to watch episode... Yeah, please.
Sorry.
Jasmine right now. I'm about to watch episode 4 and cannot get out of my mind that Molly... Let me just refresh myself here. Molly is right, okay?
Yeah, Molly.
Molly looks like a dead ringer for Lottie Moss. This season so far has lived up to expectations and episode 3 was fabulous. Yeah. Question, who do you think will reach the fire pit? I'm not sure.
The fire pit?
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm just looking at Lottie Moss.
She's Kate Moss's sister. I did some research.
Okay, well done you. Fire pit. So we need to choose 4, don't we? Because 4 normally is the fire pit because they do the final round table with 5 and then 4 reach the fire pit.
Okay. Well,
final 4. Jazz. I'm definite Jazz is going to be
to
there.
the extent Charlie.
Charlie, Evie, Molly.
No. Yeah, all 3 count as one. No,
it'd be like Yellow Jackets. They pick a card and it's the Queen of Hearts and then they all go chasing the one who gets it.
Out of the 3 blondes...
Right.
Charlie, I'm thinking is going to be on the fire. She gives fire pit vibes to me, final vibes. Just something about the way she does
really?
VTs. Yeah, just something about VTs. A bit like Hannah from series 1-ish.
Not Hannah from S Club 7.
Well, another. Don't get me too confused.
Another blonde white woman.
We need some wigs. You have to choose one, and I'll choose one more.
Oh, okay. So I've done Jazz so far. So I say Jazz, Harry.
Oh, I was about to say.
You can say the same one.
No,
we can't. You have to.
No. I'm gonna say Ross.
We're not picking teams.
2 each. That's it. So Charlie, Jazz, Ross, and Harry.
Ross. No, I don't think Ross will make it. I think of the 2 between Diane and Ross, I think Diane and Ross. I think Diane will be the one who makes it. If one of them,
she might sacrifice herself for her child.
No, I think Ross will sacrifice himself for his mum.
Maybe. Well, there you go. There's our prediction.
There you go. That's our prediction. We did it as a team effort.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike what the traitors are doing right now.
I don't know if we need to really talk about the mission. They were all in one group. They worked together better.
It was a really fluffy one, wasn't it? It was basically
very emotional.
Where they were talking about how they were getting on with each other. I felt like the production crew kind of got the footage for the game and just thought to themselves, Christ, this is crap. What are we going to do? Oh, I know. Let's do a fluff piece about Johnny. It literally was.
And Charlie had one as well.
Well, it was like a documentary for like how wonderful they are. So we kind of should have seen Johnny going, really, from the evidence of the fact that the game was almost just forgotten. They did win £10,000. So that was good.
Work as a team though, because they were all in. They weren't split up or anything. They went past the first shield, and all of them were like, "No, we're a team.
No, Harry,
we're a team, so we don't need that shield." And then at the end, they just picked up 2, and then they you have it. No, you have. Yeah, so that was all lovely. Very nice, and
it was lovely.
There was gold cannonballs and targets, and
I thought it was going to be what are those things that fly in Harry Potter? I thought they were going to do like a really crap version of that. Snitch. They were going to basically, Claudia was going to throw this gold ball, and they were going to run around with broomsticks between their legs, going boom boom, when they trying to grab the golden ball. Mm-hmm. But alas, that didn't happen. But there was a catapult, and you can't go wrong with the catapult.
Hitting it to build it. So
they did.
The gays were worried.
I think the gays were excited.
Yeah.
I think they were remembering their swings back in their S&M room back at home.
So the round table then.
Yeah.
I was obviously, of course, as I am every episode, hoping that Paul would get caught out and banished.
Paul was very close. That has to be said. Paul was floundering on this one. Paul was really floundering on this one. When Anthony started pointing the finger and then Jazz joined in, it really did start looking like Paul was beginning to lose his grip on reality.
He worked his way out of it though, didn't he?
Well, he made a really stupid mistake, and I didn't really hear it, but I didn't want to ask to rewind it because I know how much you like to watch things in live time, so I just thought I'd just let it carry on. Yep. But Paul said something, and then a lot of the people around the round table said, "No, it didn't happen, Paul. That's not right." And then Paul kind of sat back a little bit and was like, should have done that. Whoops.
I think that was to do with I think Jazz was saying something along the lines of like it doesn't make sense that Meg was killed, and I think they're all kind of agreeing to that.
Yeah, but then he said something about like Andrew being in the dungeon or something, and he was like, well, no, that's not true.
I wonder if Diane is twigging, because when they went for their drinks afterwards, the camera sort of focused on her face for some reason and did a little sound effect of a zing. And I was like, oh, why have they lingered there? So I'm wondering if she's she's a bit suspicious of Paul now. So I'll be surprised next episode at breakfast. She's been up all night.
She's been a bit quiet, Diane, to be fair, as well. Like, again, after her initial kind of like pointing fingers at Harry, she's not
calmed
really
down
done anything. Yeah,
she's a bit excited.
She's widened her neck in a little bit, and she's kind of not done quite so many accusations. I must say, can I just quickly say that I am always very surprised by how impressed I am by the way Miles plays a very relaxed game.
Yeah.
Like, I was straight away ready to write off Miles, and actually I think he's played it so well.
I wonder if it's helped him being a faithful for like one day. And it was like he was able to realise what it's like to be faithful and then be called as a traitor. But only after a day he found it easy to do this.
Maybe.
Normally when you're called in to be a traitor late, it's
hard
really
to adjust.
obvious. Yeah. This way, because it's only a day, maybe he had like the best of both worlds, maybe.
Maybe Hannah Montana.
So what about the possibilities of murder then? We need to go through them because,
Oh yes. So Meg's gone.
Meg's went a long time ago. Meg's dead.
Yeah.
Just get over it.
Johnny, that's who I was going to talk about.
Yeah, Johnny's
you have
vanished.
this facts file.
Oh, okay. I didn't know there's so much of this show. Okay, you ready, everyone?
I'm ready.
What's your name and where do you come from?
Right,
Johnny.
An ex-military man, Johnny, 31, hopes to use his sense of humour to keep morale high amongst the contestants.
We tried that with Jasmine, and Jasmine did not tolerate that at all.
Well, he needs to work on his
Humour. Stop being funny, Johnny.
not his army humour.
What's this?
Yeah.
We're hilarious.
He would be excited to be a traitor, but says that he, quote, wouldn't underestimate it because you're going to make friendships with people and there will be some hard decisions to be made.
Yes,
Harry.
He had the foresight. And a lot of people said when Johnny went that he was a very strong player. Even Claudia said that. She said, you've gotten rid of one of the strongest players of the game. And they were all like, whoopsie-doo.
Keep out of it, Claudia. The father of two...
Keep your opinion to yourself, Claudia.
Yeah, you're on BBC. You're meant to be
impartial.
balanced.
Yeah.
Some balance.
I see no impartiality in you, Claudia.
Father of two is disabled, but says that he'll, quote, crack on with any physical challenge. Quote, I feel completely normal in the sense of what I can and can't do. He did all the great challenges.
He was great.
Jumping through that river, holding on to Clairvoyant. Was it Tracy? I think he was holding on to him.
That?
Yeah, it was Johnny and Harry were either side of her. She loved it.
When? What
they're going across
that?
the one at the beginning.
I wasn't really... Oh, the very first challenge.
No, the one on this episode that we're talking about.
Oh, I got bored of that bit, I have to say. It's the first time I was a bit
you missed Harry and Johnny escorting her through a river.
I missed
arm in arm. So I bet you wish you were Tracy. Speak of Tracy, she is the other one who may be getting murdered as well.
She is. Diane, Tracy and Charlotte. Diane, here are the reasons. There's no suspicion, but she's got a big personality. Tracy,
useless.
Well, it will confuse the group. That's it.
Basically, it will be out of nowhere because no one really looks at Tracy or listens to what Tracy says.
She didn't see it coming. And Charlotte, who is looked guilty, and it would be an obvious kill. Charlotte's video, I must say, her VT of her in her room was very OnlyFans.
Oh, in her bath.
She was like,
she took the bath away from Andrew.
Around her. No, Andrew has a shower. That's Andrew's OnlyFans. That's him in his shower, showing off his muscles.
Oh, I love the open-top bath scenes. They're great.
I like all the scenes.
Yeah, Diane was reading an orange book/diary, her notes of the day, I think. She was on her bed.
I bet she is writing notes. She's the kind of person who'd write notes.
And Tracy had like a crystal with like loads of smoke coming out.
Of course she bloody did.
Where'd the smoke come from? Don't know. Maybe it was Meg's ghost.
It could be Meg's ghost, or she bought her own smoke machine, or she's just extinguished a cigarette. No, she's just put out a cigarette in the ashtray. Or it's her vape.
Or she's magical.
She was just like... And then got the crystal out.
To the ghosts of Series 1 cast and getting the answers.
Wilf, who is the traitor?
I do think that out of the three, Tracy's going to be killed, no? Because she's like the one that which leads no suspicion to the three traitors that are left. Whereas Diane... I think she's getting too much of a good edit, and Charlotte, she has more to give.
I don't think Charlotte's put a lot in, though.
She's a bit followy. I noticed that she followed when Zach said something about Anthony. She was like, yep. And then all around the table, it suddenly echoed around everyone. It was like, yep. And it's like, all right.
I think Charlotte is going to be Charlotte or Tracy. I think nothing against Tracy. It's just as soon as you hear the word clairvoyant, you're just like, oh, for God's sake, what are you? At least to be fair to Tracy, at least she's not, one, left the game halfway through because she thought her premonitions were so strong that she was going to win and it was unfair for everyone else to play. Or two, she's used her clairvoyancy too much. That is literally her only personality on the show. And the only reason I say that is because we don't really know a lot more about Tracy. I'd like to learn more about Tracy. So as much as I love Charlotte and I love her bubble baths, I think that I just want to learn more about her. I want to be told I'm wrong, because we've had a series now where there was a clairvoyant on there and they ended up being fine. I enjoyed them. They were fun. Yeah. I just instantly, I feel bad for instantly have a disliking with someone because they're a clairvoyant.
It's true. He's not done anything to annoy me yet with her clairvoyancy. So
no, she has. So I used it a couple of times though. She's got all the aura around that person. It's not blocking me.
Yeah, it's not annoyed me as much as it did on that other clairvoyant on another series, which will be
every bloody series of the Traitors, all around the world. Even the non-speaking ones, I believe, has a clairvoyant in them. Everyone. I don't know what the booking. I don't know what they're trying to do.
Yet to win.
But that's my problem. I completely acknowledge that that's a me problem and not anyone else's.
I just don't want to speak.
I knew you were looking for something. That's why I thought I'd ramble for a bit.
Right.
Okay.
Silence, please. Silence, please.
We've reached our time.
Fair. So
Tracy, R.I.P. But we think it's you. If anyone has any comments before the next episode, any emails or things they want to say to us personally about the show, what can they do?
Well, they can email us, faithfultothetraitors@gmail.com. They can find us on X @TraitorsPodcast or Instagram @FaithfulToTheTraitors. Don't forget to follow us on those social links so you can find out if anything special's happening or any extra episodes or whatever's going to come out.
YouTube.
But another way you can know that is by going to YouTube, searching Faithful to the Traitors Podcast or Bound Productions Podcasts. You just find two ugly mugs as the front image, and there we are. Actually, we're not are we? It just says Bound.
It's a logo.
Yeah, sorry. Just ignore what I just said. However, if you do find us on YouTube and you're watching us, don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up, comment below on the video, and you'll never miss an episode in the future. And if you're listening to us, also don't forget to subscribe. And if you're enjoying listening to us, please give us a 5-star review so more people can find us, and comment on the 5-star review saying why... I don't know, Tracy
has a smoking bit of crystal.
How she got a smoking crystal.
And is it legal?
Yes. Is it a legal requirement in the magic?
Right, so
buymeacoffee.com/faithful is also another way you can help fund the show and get us looking even more dishevelled.
Like need Botox.
Ben needs Botox, and I just
camera lens.
I just need
there you go.
Help,
so we're back tomorrow for the last one of the week then.
Gosh, that's halfway as well by that point.
Is it?
Episode 6 of a possible 12.
Grows up so fast.
I know. Okay. First day of school and next day they're going to university, aren't they?
Okay, right. So we will see you all again tomorrow for the last one of the week. So goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, stay faithful. Forgot to do that as last 3 episodes.
Keep faithful.